Man only has to survive 1 hour in the city and there will be earnings on his account. With every additional hour of survival, the earnings double. If he can survive for 24 hours, he will win 5 million in cash. However, the money isn't easy to make, as 5 hunters are hidden in the crowd, chasing after him. It's probably safer in a crowded place. Jack arrived at the mall, found a seat, raised his hands high, and used a newspaper to cover his face, but it seemed to be interfering with the elderly shoeshiner's business nearby. Just then, the elevator door opened, and Jack quickly got up and ran toward it. A mother and child gave him a sense of safety. As the elevator door was about to close, a hand suddenly reached in, and a man in a suit entered the elevator. In the reflection, Jack noticed the man staring at him. He quietly picked up a pen from a woman's handbag and held it in his hand. The elevator stopped on the 20th floor, and the mother and child exited. The small space was a perfect opportunity for the British man to strike, but he seemed to notice the weapon in Jack's hand and did nothing, simply leaving the elevator. As Jack watched the elevator doors slowly close, he let out a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, Jack's wife received a transfer of $1 million. She had no idea what kind of business her husband was involved in. Jack stepped out of the elevator, suddenly hearing something behind him. Turning around, it was the British man. He pulled out a conical weapon from his sleeve and quickly ran toward Jack. Seeing this, Jack immediately fled, opening the door to the stairwell and rushing up the stairs. The British man followed closely behind. When Jack reached the 26th floor, he searched around and eventually hid in a bathroom. After confirming there was no one inside, he pushed open the innermost door, entered, and squatted on the toilet. Not long after, the bathroom door was pushed open, and the sound of the British man's leather shoes was clearly audible. Jack dared not make a sound inside. The British man suddenly stopped, bent down, and pressed his head close to the floor. Not finding Jack, he stood up and placed his weapon on the sink. Jack was as tense as if sitting on pins and needles. The British man took off his coat and hung it up, then took out a piece of gum and elegantly placed it in his mouth. He then used a comb to tidy up his golden hair, singing a British folk song softly under his breath. Jack's in there too scared to move. After wiping the comb dry with a piece of paper, the British man took his weapon and gracefully turned around, clearing his throat. He said to the corner of the bathroom,
Mr. Tyler, shall we?